Gabriella Gallegos.
And I'm Nina Smith.
And we are your Battle Mountain Husky Happenings anchors. Welcome, Battle Mountain Huskies, to the 2024 to 2025 school year. If you currently have no idea what's going on, don't worry. You'll get very used to seeing our faces.
Here at Husky Happenings, we'll be your one-stop shop for news, announcements, sports, upcoming events, and exclusive rotating segments.
That's right. Once a week in advisory, Nina and I will be here for all your Battle Mountain needs. In today's episode, we'll be looking at some exclusive teacher interviews on their advice of how to be successful in school, how to thrive in sports and clubs, and how to meet new people.
Well, let's get into the interviews and pay attention because this is some high-quality advice.
Let's do it. Today I'm here with
Mrs. Matthews,
Mrs. Jones,
Mr. Bettenhausen,
Miss Roberts,
Mr. and Miss Bayan,
Mr. Ybarra,
Mr. Farrell.
Mr. Zwick,
Mr. Ballet.
and Mr. Ballet. How do grades affect participation in sports and activities?
So if you have two failing grades during any semester for that week, it's going to make you ineligible for sports. So that's anything below a 2 in 2 classes and you're ineligible.
And Miss Matthews, what is your advice to incoming freshmen and new students here at Battle Mountain this year?
Well, for new freshmen, I would say make sure you get involved in as many things as you can and give yourself as many opportunities as possible. For just students coming back, I would say make sure you stay on top of your work because it's way easier to stay on track than it is to catch up if you fall behind.
And Miss Jones, what does Spirit Week look like here at Battle Mountain?
Great question. You see, our Spirit Week, I'd probably give it a 2, developing. When I look around the halls, I see some students decked out and they're having such a good time, but then I see some other students just not going for it, which is pretty lame. What should it look like? A 4!
And Mr. Bettenhausen, why do you think it's important to make connections with your peers in high school?
Oh, making connections just makes the whole day go so much better. You have smiley faces to say hi to, you have somebody to ask questions to. Connections are a great thing.
And what is the best way to ask your teachers for help?
Come to Academic Connect.
And Mr. and Miss Bayan, what is your favorite thing about teaching here at Battle Mountain High School?
Okay, aside from the salary, of
Yeah.
course, I think it's the environment of our colleagues because they are so supportive. So they support us in everything that we need, the admin, and then my fellow science teachers. So that's it.
Great. What about you?
Exactly the same. The math department people are very amazing. So I'm glad I'm here.
Well, thank you so much for the interview.
Okay, you're welcome.
Mr. Ybarra, what is the best way to support Battle Mountain Huskies when it comes to sports and clubs?
Oh, any extracurricular activity. If you see them in the hallways, tell them good luck, good job if it was over. Go and support them out in their events, what they're going at, whether it's in the auditorium or on the field. And just always show black and gold support wherever you're at.
And Mr. Farrell, what is your best advice for students on how to keep their grades up?
Pay attention, participate, and ask questions.
And what do you think is the best way to meet new people?
I think the best way to meet new people is walk up to them, smile, and introduce yourself, and just have a good old conversation with them.
Since this is the very first episode of Husky Happenings this year, and there are so many changes going on at Battle Mountain, we decided it'd be best to talk to Mr. Mills, our school principal, about some of these new policies. How are you today, Mr. Mills?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. How was your long Labor Day weekend?
It was awesome. I got the opportunity to camp and bike and spend time with family, so it was good.
Great. So getting started with this interview, what are the teachers doing this year to foster a different culture at Battle Mountain, and how will that benefit the students?
Great question. I think one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle is students are now realizing is the cell phone policy. Mm-hmm. And the goal of the cell phone policy is to hopefully create better engagement with the learning. And what we are finding is that teachers are reporting that students are more engaged with each other, more engaged with their learning, and it's easier to have ownership of it when you are engaged. And so it's really exciting for our teachers to have students present in the moment and engaged.
For sure. So why aren't students allowed to go to other places in the school during lunch this year? I know this is a very big question. They
Sure.
are blocking off the cafeteria. Why is that change happening this year?
Sure. Great question. We wanted to look at where disruptions were happening in our building, and there seemed to be a lot of disruptions of students in the academic wings of the building during lunch, and that change, we opened up that access during COVID, right? So COVID happened, and we started opening up the building to allow students opportunities to eat elsewhere and to social distance. And what we have found since COVID and the pandemic, that there were a lot of disruptions happening in academic wings, and teachers were upset, and students were not honoring the process. And so we needed to put in place a little more control over access in the building so that teachers could teach without disruption.
That makes sense. So if a student does have an off hour, where are they supposed to go if they're at school?
Sure. Love your questions. Great question. We wanted to make sure that students had access to study, to work during lunchtime and during off hours. And so during off hours specifically, students can work in the library or the media center. During lunch, if they want to have a workspace, they can go work in the lecture hall.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So how is the new hallway policy affecting teachers this year? Because I know there's a lot of different systems in place for that, and it seems like it's been a little bit hard to keep track of everything, but
Sure.
Why is that system in place now, and how is it affecting these teachers?
Sure, we have looked at other schools in Eagle County School District and other schools in the country, and looked at how we can best support teaching and learning happening in our building and support students. And so we incorporated a new system this year called SmartPass, electronic hall pass system. Unfortunately, it wasn't ready to roll out that first week of school, and so we had to do a soft roll on SmartPass. Thus, we still had the physical passes. The physical pass is nice, especially this year with them being orange, because it really recognizes that a student is in the hallway for the right reasons and is been approved by the teacher. The SmartPass system, I think, is going to be really beneficial because it is a system that, if implemented with fidelity, it allows students the freedom to go to the bathroom and get water, and just kind of not necessarily track movements, but it's a way to make sure that students are where they're supposed to be, and we're not like a mall where students are just wandering the hallways, and which can disrupt learning. And so we're hopeful that the SmartPass system will be beneficial, and thus it's kind of a trial basis right now.
Great.
Yeah.
Last but certainly not least, what are you personally excited for this school year?
I think for me this year is really looking at systems and how we better support our students and their academic journey, right? The end goal is to support students, whether it's a post-secondary career or post-secondary college. Our journey is to help prepare them, right? We want to partner with you and help you get to where you want to be. And so that to me is always exciting, where we can work together to get you where you want to be. And I think looking at the systems we have in place to help with you with that journey and the right people, that's what excites me.
Great. Well, thank you so much for this interview, Mr. Mills. We really appreciate it. And I think that's it for the interview.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Here we go. Go Dogs.
Well, that kicks off Husky Happenings' first episode of the school year.
We hope you enjoyed and are excited for more new content.
Make sure to go follow us on our Instagram at husky.happenings.
And teachers, don't be afraid to reach out to our Gmail, huskyhappenings@gmail.com, and email us about anything that you would like to see in these episodes. Until next time, I'm Gabriela Gallegos.
And I'm Nina Smith.
And
thanks for tuning in.